You already know about those videos from Japan, the ones where fake salarymen pretend they've got a miserable work life and never have enough money, right? For those who don't know what this is all about, Pattis and Soda the Throne already made videos about this. Please go have a look.
Recently, I exposed the fake salaryman grift, where people in Japan were scamming their audience by pretending to be overworked Japanese salarymen while begging for donations. If you're wondering what these videos are all about, they're basically misery porn about how cruel the life is for the average Japanese businessman. They all have to work for 12, 13, 16, 17 hours a day, having to work so hard that they become either homeless or sick.
Japan's work culture is insane. They have to work for 18 hours every day, and they get $800 a month. So recently, one viewer of mine asked me if the salarymen in Tokyo are all fake and scamming foreigners. Apparently on the internet, there are a lot of Tokyo salarymen that work for 16 hours a day, and they get only $800 a month.
This trend is all the rage in Japan, and there's a guy in China who does the same thing. But this time, I'm going to talk about the Vietnamese ones. The Japanese version sells you a story that lines up with everything you already believe about working conditions in Japan. The brutal hours, the tiny apartment, the exhausted salaryman. And it's not entirely untrue. They're just cranking it up far past what it actually is. The Vietnamese version does the same trick, but with a different preconception. That Vietnam is still a poor country where people are barely scraping by. And again, it's not entirely untrue. Poverty here is real. But the thing is, the guys making these videos aren't the ones living it. I swear, if you type into the search bar keywords like Vietnam plus low income plus alone plus poor, you get all of those kinds of videos.
Check these ones out. A day off, alone and low income in Vietnam. What is it really like? 146,000 views. Living alone in rural Vietnam on a low income. $2 a day survival. My realistic day at 36. Living alone in Vietnam on a low income. My alone and poor lifestyle in Vietnam. No parents, no marriage. My $40 apartment in Vietnam. 9 meters square, but that's not the problem. Real life in Vietnam. Low income single mom at 35. No friends, no partner. 33 years old, low income, living alone in Vietnam. Living alone in rural Vietnam on a low income. 26 years old, low income delivery rider living alone in Vietnam. Real daily life. 32 years old, low income, living in Vietnam. Living alone and low income in Vietnam. 27, no family, survival in Hanoi. Living alone at 35 with a low income in Vietnam. $360 a month. How a Vietnamese woman living alone in Hanoi. 26-year-old, living alone in poor lifestyle in Vietnam. No job, no marriage. How differently the rich and poor live in Vietnam. Low income life in Vietnam. Low income life in Vietnam. Living alone at 26 years old, unemployed and living in a tiny 6.5 meter square room for $80 a month. Alone in Vietnam. Low income life with no friends. 20-year-old, living alone and poor lifestyle in Vietnam. No job, no marriage. $12 a month in Vietnam, rock bottom life, inside our 24 meter square subsidized house, inside my family's slum house, the raw of low income families reality in Vietnam, my alone and poor lifestyle in Vietnam, no parents, no marriage, no income. What poor neighborhoods in Vietnam are like? Vietnam slum. A day no job, alone and low income in Vietnam, inside my low income apartment in Vietnam. Okay, now you got the point. Some Vietnamese creators will go pretty far for profit on YouTube, lying, staging, deceiving, whatever it takes. Nick Crowley made a video exposing fake dog and cat rescue channels, and several of the ones he exposed were Vietnamese. The rescues were entirely staged. Animals were deliberately trapped, hurt, or buried alive first, just so someone could film themselves swooping in to save them. He even traced a handful of these channels back to the same people, running them together like a coordinated operation rather than a one-off scam.
With one of the biggest being their obvious attempt to follow views. A year ago, one of their videos showed a kitten trapped in between the wheels of a truck, with the video gaining a staggering 11 million views. Now, just a few months after that, a similar video was posted that showed another kitten rescued from the tires, with a similar thumbnail, and this one got 31 million views. And much like the snakes on the Happy Dog channel, the people at Rescue Journey TV likely saw how well these rescues were doing and started doing them more to gain views.
It works for the same reason the poverty videos do. Westerners feel for an animal in danger just as fast as they feel for a struggling person, and these creators know exactly which niche to exploit. Fake poverty, fake rescues, whatever sells. If there's profit in it, some Vietnamese creators will fake or exploit just about anything to get it.
Even though I don't use English as main language in my channel, if I see that many foreign viewers watch this, I may make more videos in the future regarding this topic. Thanks to how easy AI is to get now, they can write scripts in English and have a professional sounding voice narrate their stories. They never open their mouths to say a single word in their own videos. They just act in front of the camera and then add the captions later.
Some of them even have a cameraman helping them out.
They've cracked the code on how to farm sympathy out of US viewers for the ad revenue and even the bonuses on top. US views earn 10 times more than Vietnamese views. They know the market. They know that Westerners are very sensitive to the sight of poverty. I don't have the time to analyze all of their videos. They're everywhere. So I'm going to talk about this one guy in particular. As an example, his channel name is Han Life. Besides him, there are other girl YouTubers who use being poor, helpless, but independent as their weapon. They never say it out loud, of course, but their videos are practically screaming it. I'm so poor and struggling, but I'm pretty and speak English well. Please give me money. I'll talk about those YouTubers sometime in the future. But for now, let's talk about this Han guy. So here are the red flags and the inconsistencies, the things that suggest he's acting, and that there's a lot more to the story than what he's showing us. Start with the thumbnail. The apartment in the thumbnail is completely different from the one shown in the video. It is clear that he uses AI to generate his thumbnail. Lying to the viewers is something you shouldn't do. He clearly copies the Japanese formula, counting money in front of the camera, laying it out the budget for each purpose. Money for his mom, money for his food, gas money, and so on.
Counting your money and complaining about your life. Which has made many people to think that all of these videos are filmed by either a content farm or even a single person, since all of them are faceless and voiceless, with similar titles and thumbnails, and the only thing we're getting from these people are the subtitles at the bottom.
I could even hear someone else, most likely his cameraman, instructing him to place the money down on the piece of paper on the table. Which tells you there's real professionalism behind how these videos get made. And speaking of professionalism, he's got someone holding the camera behind him while he rides the motorbike too. That's a lot of help for something that's supposed to be an amateur video truthfully capturing the life of the destitute. Here's one thing I noticed. He never mentions how much his rent costs. I wonder if he even pays rent for that apartment. One funny bit I found in one of the videos is when he supposedly gets an emergency call from his boss while he's out. His phone is showing the menu screen, not the usual call screen, and I can't make out a single word he could be saying. He seems to be just pretending to speak while nothing is actually coming out. Why would he do that? Because it's one of the tricks that makes the portrayal of his life look as authentic as possible. He says he's poor, that he lives on $2 a day.
After tax and insurance, my budget is $3 a day.
But the things he shows on camera suggest a different story. One thing you may have noticed is that he's better built than most Vietnamese. He has good skin, and he's definitely carrying some extra weight. He has a figure that doesn't evoke poverty. If anything, he looks like he's already getting all the nutrition he needs, a well-fed man. He definitely eats a lot of snacks. His channel is all about him eating all the time. You could honestly call it a street food channel. Here's him eating, and here, 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 and here too. He also seems to be highly aware of his blood pressure, since he constantly films himself measuring it, which I think is a luxurious concern to have if you're supposed to be a guy living on $2 a day. Truly poor people are malnourished. They're less prone to having fat in their blood, and they carry a lower risk of high blood pressure. He also has one major challenge in his life: climbing the stairs to his second-floor apartment. He seems to be out of breath after only a few steps. Again, a very luxurious problem to have if you're supposed to be poor.
Using the stairs every day is a workout. I have high blood pressure. I know my doctor won't like this drink.
Since this old complex doesn't have an elevators, so I had to climb all 3 flights of stairs. Hot weather and a full day of activity can sometimes cause blood pressure to rise unexpectedly. As I slowly walk up each level, I can feel my breathing getting a bit heavier and my body starting to get tired. I need to take my blood pressure again, just to be safe.
Imagine climbing to the second floor tires you out so much that you have to sit down and worriedly measure your blood pressure just to be sure.
Every time I measure my blood pressure, I get nervous because the results are usually not very good.
He also has things which doesn't necessarily prove he's rich, but does show he's still better off than truly poor Vietnamese people. 1. He makes it look like he's living in poor conditions. But mind you, he lives in better than most people on this earth. He has an apartment in the middle of Ho Chi Minh City with easy access to everything you could want: entertainment, food stores, all of it. Compare that to people living in a slum right here in Ho Chi Minh City, or the slums in the Philippines, or those dismally narrow apartments in Hong Kong. He's got a massively decent place to live. I wouldn't complain much at all if I could live where he does. 2. He has a MacBook. US viewers need to understand that MacBooks are a luxury in Vietnam. Not impossible to buy, but a luxury nonetheless. I'm just saying it contradicts his persona. 3. And yes, he eats out a lot, which I already mentioned above. I know street food doesn't cost much, but it still goes against his narrative, against the persona he's supposed to be selling. One hilarious moment is when he books a love hotel for 1 hour, and then he innocently reviews the room like it's a normal hotel room, with a misleading narration. His expression suggests that he clearly knows what this hotel room really is. It's a love hotel, not a usual one. What a funny way to show that you're struggling with life while you got spare cash to check into a love hotel. Yes, he's been inconsistent with the persona he's supposed to be selling, but nonetheless, there are still some redeeming values to his channel. He does actually show life in Vietnam in some of his recent videos, which genuinely provides values to curious foreign viewers, and that's completely okay. But if he's going to make his poverty the main point, how hard his life is, how miserable it all is, then he better brush up his image and start telling a story that matches what he's trying to depict. I know everyone has a different view of what counts as poor and what doesn't. But if you ask most Vietnamese people, they'd agree that what he has right now already puts him in the top 10% of the country. I think highly of him if he kept showing the interesting side of life in Vietnam without having to evoke sympathy from viewers. And this is the thing I have to say to you, especially to those of you living in countries that are indisputably richer than Vietnam. Even a poor guy in the US has it better than the average person in Southeast Asia. So it's normal for you to sympathize with these living conditions, even though most Vietnamese wouldn't consider these people to be having a hard life at all. By Vietnamese standards, they're doing pretty normally. But I need to tell you one thing. Sympathy is good, but without understanding the true cause of the problem, nothing actually gets solved. Poor countries are poor for a reason. Corruption and bad management. I know there are many other contributing factors, but the constitution and the system are the deciding ones. Take Africa as an example. Charity organizations can pour millions of dollars into building wells and roads there. But if people on the ground can't maintain any of it themselves, that infrastructure just rots away and deteriorates. I know that donating money to your favorite YouTubers isn't wrong, and it's perfectly normal to do it. I just want to say this. If you're donating out of sympathy rather than for the quality of what he brings to you, then please just stop. He's having it so much better than most Vietnamese people, for all I know. So next time you watch his content, take everything he says with a pinch of salt. This is truly a rabbit hole, and these channels are infesting the YouTube algorithm in a way I haven't seen from any other country. I genuinely couldn't find the same stories being sold anywhere else in Southeast Asia. So I guess Vietnam is ahead of the pack when it comes to catching on to this business model, right behind Japan. Thank you for watching.